Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to crumble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's Livestream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me pull that screen off if I can. Okay, there we go. Welcome to my live stream. I'm Joshua Kemble. I'm going to be working on Coloring Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And I'm also going to continue my journey just kind of talking about the guitars that I have and when I acquired them and what they mean to me and what they offer. And I'm really excited because today I'm going to be talking about my favorite of all of my guitars, which is my American Telecaster. It is a really cool guitar, and I can't wait to get into it with you guys. It's called a Fender American Elite Telecaster. I got it back, about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. And it was the first legit Fender that I bought, like a guitar that just straight up said Fender on the headstock. And it was my favorite kind of guitar, which is a Telecaster. And it was one of those things where I ordered it kind of in a weird way, hoping it wouldn't be better than a Squier, and learning that no, it definitely is better than a Squier. It's the best guitar I own. It's my favorite guitar. So we're going to get into that, and then we're going to get back into coloring. So we'll noodle around on this first. So let me show it first because it's pretty. So again, this is a American Elite Telecaster, I think from 2000 something teen, maybe. I'm trying to remember what year it came out. But anyhow, when I first got this, we were gigging with No Saboteurs and playing gigs and live shows and stuff like that. And I got a killer deal on an American Elite Telecaster. So the thing I love about this, there's a couple of things that are just specific to this guitar that aren't on all Telecasters, that are some modernizations that I really like. One is that it has the belly cut that you usually see on a Strat, so I love that. The other is that it has, just for the body, it has kind of this arched cut here that allows for more fret access. That's not on a typical Telecaster. And then the pickups are beautiful on this. It came with Fender locking tuners, bone nut, which is a necessity on a decent guitar, and it also has your typical Tele settings. So these are Fender noiseless pickups. I actually like them. They get rid of some of that hum. They don't have that same tone as that crunchy Telecaster I was playing before, where there's a little sometimes that hum is something you want. But in general, so you got your basic Telecaster, and then you got your S1 switch that kind of pumps up the tone on the two pickups throughout. So you just press this little button here, press it in, press it off, and that'll give you some more varieties of tone, which is kind of cool. So we're gonna noodle around. We're not gonna do anything super fancy. because again, I didn't prepare anything for these. I just wanted to go through all my guitars and kind of talk about them. Oh, and then kind of similar to when we were going over the Stingray bass, this neck is like super thin towards the upper end. So if you look at it, it goes actually a little bit thinner towards the bottom of the neck, and it gets a little bit wider here, like slightly wider, which is weird, but it makes playing just like a breeze on this thing. So you can, move all over the frets. Um, the finish is a matte nitro finish, which is incredible. So it's got this matte, but similarly, because it's nitro, it should age really nicely. Um, and then this neck is just, I can't think of a better neck on a guitar. I love the neck on this thing. So that's it. When I got this, I got this got me kind of rehooked on guitars because it was just so good. So let's get some tones. This is on my crappy little, little Dan Electro amp. So this is let's start with the neck pickup so you can hear what it sounds like. So yeah, it's I'm not really a guitar shredder. I'm a rhythm guitarist. I do not shred. I can do like, but I'm doing slow stuff, But this just to me, it sounds beautiful. And the thing I love about this guitar is you barely feel it. Like every electric guitar I've had prior to this one, you're going to pay for it a little bit on your fingers. And this was the first electric guitar I ever owned where I could play up here, like on the high fret axis, no problem. And like my fingers feel like, oh, I just pushed a feather. It's the weirdest. I love this thing. So most of the No Saboteurs album, both of them, if there was electric, it was usually this guitar. So that's just the neck, right? We haven't even gotten through it, but it's just, I don't know how much of the tone's coming through this mic because I don't have this properly mic'd up, but it sounds so pretty and chimey. So, okay, this is the middle position where you have both pickups. So it's got that quack of a Telecaster, but it's just a beautiful tone. And then we got our final, which is our bridge position. And this is easily my favorite Telecaster tone every time. And there is no, like, the thing that's great about this is I don't even have any sort of gain turned up on this crappy little amp, and it gets that, like that just, crunch. So it's got that quack of a Telecaster. I love this guitar. And then here's the nice thing. If I hit the S1 switch, so we'll hear it without, and then we'll hit the S1 switch. It just gives a little more oomph, especially in the middle position. This is with the S switch. So it's got like some crunch to it, but if I turn the S switch off, right? So you notice like that's way cleaner no matter how hard I hit it. But if I hit that S1 switch, you just hear a little more crunch. I love it. So anyhow, that is my beautiful Fender, my first real guitar, like legit kind of pricey and high quality, like high end guitar was this one. And I love it. I treasure it. I play it all the time. I've already put some scratches on it. I try to treat it tenderly because it's a beautiful guitar, but at the same time, this gets a lot of play. And if I'm ever recording electric tracks, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be using this. If I'm ever gigging live and it's not at like a shady bar, I'm going to be using this. If it's a shady bar, I'm going to be pulling out that Squire 2 that I rigged up, the red one, and then, the Squire that I rigged up, the red one, and then we're going to rock that at a live show at like a shadier bar because I don't want to risk losing this baby. So yeah, I love it. I love the binding around the side. It was just really beautifully executed. I love the shell pick guard. I just love this guitar very much. And also, I like a fretboard. I mean, it's interesting because my other 2 tellies have a rosewood fretboard, but because of the fact that that first Strat that I had was just straight maple fretboard with no rosewood on it, which is that darker wood you see on some guitars. I really fell in love with this kind of neck. Like it gives just a little more quack, a little more twang to a guitar, a little more attack. It's less mellow than having a rosewood fretboard. And because of that, when it came time to order an actual, like, we're going to get the real thing, we're going to get the American Fender. And it was a Telecaster. I was like instantly like, I want this one because of the maple fretboard, and also because I got a crazy killer deal on it. So yeah, this will never be parting from me until I die. But I love this guitar. I can't sing the praises of it enough, and it definitely makes a difference because if I play this and then I go back to like the kind of lesser quality guitars, I can just instantly feel it on my fingers, like especially on your fingers, like because when you play like this level of guitar, it's just like you don't even like your fingers aren't gonna like you almost would have to keep playing your bad guitars just to keep the calluses on your fingers, because like I'll have to pick up my crappy banjo like a bunch more just to like keep the calluses going. So this is guitar number 7. So we went over all of these. This is my baby, my favorite guitar of all my guitars. And I don't think I'm going to do better on a Telecaster. I know there's like customs and all kinds of stuff you can do. You could get a Tex-Mex, you could get like all sorts of interesting varieties of a Telecaster, but for me, I have never played a Telecaster that I fell in love with more quickly than this one. And also, I have to admit, even though it's not traditional for a Telecaster, I love having the belly carve. Maybe that's just me being a dad. So we got Jim, we got Philip, we got Paul. So that was my showing off my my beautiful American Telly. It's really exciting to me too because I used to daydream about getting one of these, and it even says Corona, California on the back. So this thing was made California, in the custom shop location, and it just plays beautifully. And again, I love this because it's kind of like an old style Telecaster where there's no truss up here, but much like the Music Man that I was showing, or the Sterling that I was showing earlier today, it has the truss rod adjustment here, but it has a cutout area, so it's exposed, so you don't have to pull out the pick guard to make adjustments like an old school Tele. So I just love this thing. It's a very modern player, really thick frets, like the jumbo frets, the bendability of the strings, the neck itself, and then just the feel. It's like the smoothest matte finish of a guitar that I own. So I love this thing. And I will play the hell out of it. And if you guys ever hear me record electric, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be this guy. And again, I have friends who have like really expensive guitars, and maybe by all means they might cost more than this, but this is my favorite guitar of all of them. Also, just because, again, if I had to pick, if I go to a guitar store, I had nothing, right? And they were like, you can pick one guitar and that's all you get to play for the rest of your life. I would be like a Telecaster. I just think they're the best guitar. They have limited amounts of tone, but the range you can get from those limits is just like the best thing. So I'm going to turn this amp off and we're going to play a trailer, and then we'll get back to working on comics. Hopefully this is fun for you guys. Before I do, just to make sure I'm keeping track. So far we went through first the crappy Squire 2 Stratocaster, right? Then we went into my $50 Jasmine acoustic that I got, back in the 90s. It was my first acoustic guitar. That's like the Squire of Techamine. Then we went into my Telecaster, my Squire Telecaster. It was just a standard Tele, and it was blonde, very pretty Telecaster. Then we went into my Seagull, which was like my first legit acoustic with like a solid top. So it gets more projection. It's beautifully built with all Canadian woods and stuff like that. Finally, we went from there to my rigged up Squire 2, or not Squire 2, Squire 20th anniversary Telecaster that I modified to have P90s and a hot rail. So it has a P90 and a hot rail. It's a real crunchy guitar. I love it. But again, still kind of like a mid-range, low-range guitar. And then I got then we went into number 6, which was the Sterling bass. It's the Sterling Stingray bass, which is like the subdivision of Music Man. There's no way in my life I'm ever gonna pay $4,000 for a bass. So their lower version of it to me is just like one of the most excellent bass instruments I'm ever gonna buy. And then after that, we got into the American Tele, where I took the plunge and ne'er to return to get the Fender. But I will say this, like, at least in my own experience, the difference between like a made in China kind of guitar by Fender, or even a like Mexican Strats, they're amazing. Japanese Strats, you can find, especially Strats or Telecasters that were made in like the 80s in particular in Japan, are some of the best guitars you can own. But there is something of like, there is a quality in the American Corona factory that it's just unmatchable. It's like that when you play it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like having really good whiskey, when you've had like mid-level whiskey and you're like, yeah, it's better. It is. So I love this thing. And that's basically, I feel really fortunate to have gotten this. It was kind of a lifetime dream come true to have like a made in America Fender, and much less my favorite, which is a Telecaster. So, all right. What we're going to do is we're going to play a trailer real quick, and then we're going to get into stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me. And hopefully it's interesting to go through my instruments. Again, this thing, it's hard to even say what uses I wouldn't use this for. This is going to be my primary instrument on almost every recording. If there's electric on it, it's going to be this 9 times out of 10. Now we're going to get into some other ones that can offer other tones. that the Tele's just not going to reach. And even though the Tele, I think, has the widest utility for a guitar, it's the broadest application. You can play country with this, you can play funk with this, you can play punk rock with this. It's just a perfect guitar for everything. But that being said, let's get into the trailers while I take down and put away my precious here, and then we'll get into coloring some comics. I would love to see Jim do this. Jim, if you do, hey man, how's your movie going? I want you to go through some of your guitars because I think it would be fun. All right, let's put on Philip Chandler's trailer, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Phil Chandler. I'm a freelance artist, illustrator, and cartoonist. Today, though, however, I want to tell you about a graphic novel I picked up recently called Jacob's Apartment. This book was both written and beautifully illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It is the story of a doomed romance that causes the main character to question his beliefs and his faith, while he's also going through other tragedies in his life. Every page has been illustrated by hand and digitally colored with painstaking detail. It is an emotional story that causes you to think and even question things in your own life. And while the story is a tragedy, it is one that I was completely entertained by and I highly recommend. You can currently find this on Amazon or even check in with your local bookstore and see if you can order it. And while you're at it, you can also check out my Instagram at Phil Chandler Arts and also my YouTube channel by the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. And go buy Jacob's Apartment.
All right, cool. So that was basically it for my Telecaster. But again, when I got that, I remember spending about the first year of having that guitar, and people who like guitars or playing music kind of understand this. I think there's some times where you like acquire an instrument, even if it's a cheap one, and you love it. If you bond with it, it like it's so fun. It's such a pleasure to play. And it can like inspire all sorts of stuff. And so for me, that was like for like the first year of owning that, I like couldn't put it down. I just loved it. And I still love it. I still get a lot of use out of it, but I still remember that first year. It's almost like every week just being like, how am I able to have this guitar? Like, it's just too cool. And it plays so well. Like, I feel really connected with it. And that's the most important thing. I feel like that with the Squire as well, like the Red Squire. It's just got this like anger to it that like makes me want to play really aggressively. I don't know what it is about it. It's just the tone and that P90 and stuff. But there's occasional instruments that you really connect with and click with. It's like a partnership. It's kind of like equivalent to like in art or comics. When I first discovered the Pentel Pocket brush pen, this is my favorite brush pen. I used it on 2 stories. I used it on Jacob's Apartment for all the inking. And the second I got that brush, I was like, this is it. Like, this is my favorite tool for inking. It's like it just connected. And it's like that with this guitar. Like, this guitar is just, there's a spiritual bond that I have with it, as corny as that is. And again, I'm not like a flourishy, crazy guitarist, but I do love music. I love playing music. I like making music, especially writing music. So it's fun to have. So that was guitar number 7, which is kind of crazy. Again, that sounds like a lot of guitars, but I feel like when I go through it, it doesn't seem as many. I don't know if that makes sense, because each has like their own utility or memory to them. So, but okay, so now let's get into coloring. And my goal here is color this whole second panel. And then we might have to break to do bath time and stuff with the kid and all of that. But thank you for these little refreshing moments of going through the instruments. I enjoy it too, because I'm a big believer in taking stock of what you have and kind of enjoying what you've been, given. So, because you never know, like there might be a time in my life where I have to get rid of all these guitars, like, so while I have them, I might as well enjoy them and kind of, I think that I don't know, somehow like going through them and kind of going through the different stories of them is fun for me. So I appreciate it. And hopefully it's interesting for you guys too. If you hate these guitar ones, just be like, man, just stop. This is awful. But yeah, anyhow, so that was a literal, let me see. I think when I first picked up guitar, the first thing I wanted was an actual Fender. And so being able to get one was a huge thing. Philip said, hey there, had to step out for a few minutes, but I am back. All right, Philip, and I am starting. So I'm glad we finally had the stars align, Philip. I feel like Philip and I keep missing each other on these streams where I'll be like just about to wrap up, and then Philip will come on and be like, hey guys, what's going on? And I'm like, and that's it. Goodbye. And I'm like, I always feel bad because I like having Philip in the group. So I'm glad you were able to make it. And then we got Paul, we got Jim. Hey, how's it going, guys? I do like Jim's comment. He said Stevie Ray Kemble. And I also like that you're recording music tonight. That's cool, Jim. I'm excited. I am really excited. You guys really do need to hear some of this stuff. It's kind of amazing. The little bits that I've heard of Fungus's music, as well as some of the kind of more trippy like 60s. I can't explain. It's like a more kind of atmospheric, vibey soundtrack when it's not featuring, you know, Fungus, but it has this very like Tarantino era vibe. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I'm digging the music you've been doing for it. So I can't wait to hear more of it. Because I remember particularly like a driving scene that you shared with us, Jim, that where the music was really cool. It was like very much like a late 60s, early 70s vibe that felt straight out of like a Tarantino flick. Philip said, yeah, I always come in late. Sometimes I see when you're live, but I'm at work. Then you finish right after I get home. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, the timing's always tough. But, you know, to be fair, I'm also kind of at odd times right now doing this because, you know, I'm on like break for a little bit. So once I'm back to my my regular day job or whatever, the schedule will probably be a little less daytimey and a little more kind of evenings. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it's interesting. My wife's on a deadline too for like her kids' book, and so we're both kind of in crunch time working on art. Let's see. So the nice thing about this is we got a ton done on the first panel, and since this is a repeating sequence with just very subtle variations, a lot of this is going to be just picking the color from the previous panel and then filling it in the next, and so on. And so, you know, hopefully we're able to like knock through this panel fairly quickly. So out of curiosity, have you guys ever had a moment where you really wanted something for a long time, and then when it finally arrived, you were like, this is way better than I expected? Because I think a lot of us have had moments like that where there's something you really wanted, you finally acquire it, and you're like, this is kind of rad. It's like, it's the coolest thing. I love those moments. Those are fun moments. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, we're going to do our fill. Do our hair here. And then we'll just keep on moving through it. What are you guys up working on? I know that, Jim, you were saying you're going to be working on the soundtrack. That sounds like a fun night. By the way, Jim, what do you use to record? I feel like you've mentioned this before, but what program do you use to record music? I always am just a cheapskate, and I just use GarageBand for my own stuff. Um, and then the first No Saboteurs we did at my friend Robbie's studio. That's like a much more like professional environment, and then I have no idea what program he uses. Um, but other than that, like, everything I do is mostly like if I'm throwing something together, at home, it's usually just on GarageBand. And my friend Josh and I too, that's what we're using primarily to record right now, is just GarageBand. But I feel like, Jim, I think you use like some legit, recording software. I don't know if that's me, but I felt like you were using Pro Tools or something. Maybe I'm crazy. I feel like you were using something like that, like more legitimate, more legitimate recording stuff. All right, so we have to just kind of knock through. Right now, we're just doing the Elizabeth colors. Did I get her eye color? I don't think I did yet. Oh, we did do the eye color. Good, good, good. Okay, so now we got the skin tone. And one thing I try to remember to do is keeping the line layer separate from the shading layer, so that, when it comes to flat colors, I can go back to this kind of more simple line layer and then just punch in the flat colors, because it can be a little harder to see the flat color selections if I have the layer with the shading on. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that just makes it a little harder. Whereas if I do this, it's a lot easier to see clean selections. So one thing I love about this stream and stuff like it is I do think there's a value to talking about stuff like art, tools, that kind of stuff. I've noticed that too, like with art casters. Like if I talk about tools with like an artist, or they talk about process a little bit, sometimes that can be like really inspiring, just to hear like, oh, cool, let's nerd out about the process a little bit. That can reinvigorate you a little bit, because what we do is so weird. Like, like there's not a lot of people who are like, going through a weird process of like, then you use the selection tools to fill the flat colors and stuff. Whereas like almost all of us are doing this in some way or another. And so I don't know, there's like almost something therapeutic about hearing other people talk about this weird thing we do, I don't know. It's kind of nice. It makes me wonder if I guess there are, like, I guess people do listen to stuff about like sports teams and stuff that they're into, I'm sure it's nice to just, if you're really obsessed with a sports team or something, listen to somebody talk about a sports team. Did that sound convincingly like I have any idea what I'm talking about when it comes to sports? Talking about sports team shows. I don't know. I don't know if I convinced you guys. Is that what people who are into sports say? Do they say sports team? Hey guys, what is your sports team favorite? Okay, we're gonna get this part done. Do. Okay, so we have that selection done. Now we're gonna get into this part. And hopefully we can at least get for the first part of this, let's get these sections done. So it is a Saturday, you guys. And what better way to spend a Saturday than working on art? I'm going to select the rest of this. And somehow I missed that little wedge there, so we'll select that now. So what are your guys' plans for tonight? Sounds like Jim is going to do recording of music. I'd be curious to hear what everybody else is up to. What did I make the handle? Yeah, the handle's a different color here. Okay. We'll get there. And I think this is the different handle color. Let's see. Okay. Now we're going to get into the Sophie stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And we'll start with white for her eyes. And is there anything else? Yes, her white rose that she's always wearing in her hair. And then once that's deselected, we'll kind of work from there. We're just getting that hair color in there and getting that through. And if you guys are hearing like strange sounds in the background, my son is playing some really cool video games that have a variety of soundtracks. And they sound pretty cool. I heard like Mario for a second there. Like some of the Mario theme. I don't know if that's translating to you guys, but it was pretty interesting. Okay, let's get this and this so we can do her hair color as well as her mouth color. And sometimes I'll kind of alternate, like, so another method you can do with using this kind of almost like reductive way of coloring, where you're just reducing it by a color each time, is to just do like, for instance, right now I'm doing this drawing of Sophie, the character. If I just did each of these colors for each panel and deselected it, that would speed up the process possibly. And there's sometimes where I like to work that way, and then there's sometimes where I don't, where I want to just go panel through panel. And I think in cases where, like right now, I know I have a limited amount of time to work till I have to get, the bath and stuff like that ready. And so I know I'm probably going to need to, at the finish of this panel, um, you know, disappear, go do that, and then come back. So it feels like just better to kind of do it panel by panel. That way it's like easier to come back to when I return to it. That's at least my thinking on it, but we'll see. How's it going, Ronnie, in the chats? How you doing, buddy? How's your Saturday going so far? So we are making our way through this. Ronnie said it was good. That's nice. I'm glad it's good, man. So we're going through. Oh, this was kind of cool. So the other day, like knowing that I have an acoustic guitar coming, I ordered some strings on Sweetwater, which is my favorite like music site. They're great. Um, and I knew I was going to need some acoustic strings, so I was like, I'll just buy like a set of 3 because I break strings occasionally. It's not bad to have a couple backups just in case. And it's been like a couple years since I bought strings, so that's probably about time to get some new strings. And when I went to order them, they just threw in a free like humidifier, just because on the order, and I was like, that's pretty rad. That was cool. They didn't need to do that, so that was kind of neat. So now my Seagull will be humidified, which I never felt the need to do because it's not all solid wood, but it'll probably be good for it. So I threw it in there for that particular guitar. But I don't know. Sometimes when you get like freebies, it feels real good, as corny as it is. Okay, so we're gonna get through this. And that, I don't know, kind of was a brighten my day a little bit. And have to throw in something for getting strings. Okay. Now we've got this going on. And I just need that mid-range thing too. And I think I deselected a little bit too high on this dress, so we're going to have to go back and add to it a little bit, but it'll still work for now for what we need it for. Yep, one down. One down. So my son's a big fan of Geometry Dash in this game called Bloxels, and he made an elevator level on one of his games, and he made it so that because you can like build levels and stuff. But the funny thing is, when you get in the elevator, it starts playing like bad elevator music. And I was like, "Did you do that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's so cool." So it's like you get into the elevator and it's like do like playing that horrible elevator music, and I was like, "This is amazing. This is the best." So anyhow, I thought that was a nice extra touch. All right, so we are getting through the dress now, and then from there we'll get into all the crazy background stuff. Of course, we'll probably start with the kids as well. The nice thing is it's going to take a little bit less time than the last one because we pretty much have all our colors already selected next to it. So it's just a matter of kind of plug and play all over again. Okay, so let's just start knocking them out. I'm gonna start doing Shift F5 because I don't know. I was thinking picking the selection from the menu would be quicker, but I don't think it is. I think I got out of the habit of doing it because I haven't turned off the F5 action on my laptop, so I worry that when I'm going to hit it, it's going to hit the shortcut that's pre-built for there. But I'm not working on my laptop, so let's do Shift F5. That's all I'm saying. So strangely, something I'd love to hear from you guys is what is your vision for your latest art project? Or if you have an art project that you haven't started that you want to see happen this year, what's your vision of it? Do you guys envision it done? This is something I do with books, and I wonder if you guys do it too. Sometimes it's helpful for me to actually think about the physical book, on a shelf, as a goal. I don't know. Do any of you guys do that? For me, that's, I don't know. Sometimes it really helps me to get closer to the reality of it, is constantly keeping in mind the end product. Not just the art, but what it's going to look like. What's the packaging? What's the spine going to look like? Frank said, "I'm here. You can start over." Nice, Frank. Nothing starts without you. The world literally stops revolving until you enter. Welcome, Frank. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. How is Texas treating you? Are they treating you okay? Do we need to go talk to Texas? I hope they're treating you all right. Better be. Otherwise, coming down there, Frank. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this fill. It is good to hear from you, though, Frank. How is everything? Okay. We're going to deselect the face here. And then we're going to go to this here hand and do the same thing. Just kind of do this all one at a time. Slowly but surely. Oh, nice. Frank said I sent you a little sneak peek of a video I'm working on. It's not the CircWorks video yet, but I thought you might get a kick out of it. Awesome. I'll check that out. I'm kind of curious. I'll be curious to see it. And what do we got here? Okay. Frank said, "I'm doing good. Just working on a video. I got some books today that I ordered. I had menudo for lunch, and I'm going to dinner in a few minutes." Nice. Was it full out menudo with or was it? I don't know. I've heard there's two kinds of menudo, and one of them has the stomach stuff in it. I can't do the stomach stuff. I did it once, and man, it didn't work out well. the cow stomach. But yeah, I don't know. So there's some menudo that I'd be like hell yes to, but the real traditional menudo, I can't do it. Did it once. That's one of those foods where I'm like, did it once, never again. But I will say the soup otherwise is it's so good. But I feel like I've talked to some people who don't even think it's menudo unless it has that intestine, and I'm like, I can't. I can do intestine free menudo. That's about it, or not intestine, stomach lining. Yeah, Frank was saying the real menudo, the version without the stomach, is called pozole. Okay, or pozole. Okay, that's good to know. That's what I'll order from now on. It's a good flavor, so I'd say that too. It's not like I wasn't thrown off by the flavor. I just think there was something about the texture that I couldn't do. Ronnie said, most definitely imagine my book being in people's hands this year. Just hope and pray that this year is better than the last one, because last year was horrible. Well, the nice thing is if last year was horrible, this is me being a weird optimist, but it's like, hey, that's a good barometer to base things off of. Because like, if it's any bit better than horrible, then we're moving forward, right? I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I can understand that and empathize. I definitely hope your year is not horrible. Yeah, and I don't know. Like the other thing is, I don't know if I had like grown up with menudo traditionally. I think I might have been more used to that texture, because again, like it was just the texture of it threw me off, and it was a friend's party where they like his mom and his family served it to me, and they didn't say what was in it until I was like chewing it, and I was like, huh, this is a good flavor. But then I got kind of like slowly felt a little sick, and I was like, what is this like kind of weird like spory texture, and they were like laughing. They're like, oh, that's stomach, and I'm like, oh no. But before I even knew, it was just the little, because there's like a little sporiness to it. I don't know if that makes sense. And weirdly enough, what's that other that's so funny, I blank out on really common terms. There's calamari. That's another food that for some reason I just have trouble doing, because it's just the chewiness. Like there's something about the texture that I can't do. So I definitely think it's something about that kind of, I don't know, rubbery texture. Because even calamari I have trouble with. Yeah, Frank said it might be why menudo is served with onions, diced jalapeno, and limon, so it can distract you from the texture. Yeah, so good though. I mean, like that's the weird thing. The flavor. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. It's just the texture that I can't do. But the flavor is actually really tasty. And yes, it's a Mexican boy band. That was what's his name was in that, the I Can Be Your Hero guy, I believe, was in that band. Okay, we're gonna rock through this. Ricky Martin, that's it. Frank helped me out there. Yeah, I think he was in it, right? The question is, do you feel like they're as good as the Backstreet Boys, Frank? That's what I want to know. If it were like a boy band off, would they even hold a candle to the Backstreet Boys? Would be my curiosity question to you. Oh, Enrique Iglesias was in it too. Wow. Oh, okay. No, he wasn't. Okay, he was correcting me because Enrique Iglesias is the one who did the "I Can Be Your Hero." Okay, man, my brain is dead today. The original band was in an episode of Silver Spoons. My goodness. Yeah, I think we cleared it up. Thank you, Frank. I'm just dumb. I've been blanking out all day on everything. But that's why I like having you guys in chat too, because I'll blank out on something and then you're able to remind me of what things are. Okay. So we're gonna finish this kid, the colors on this kid, and then we will play a trailer. If you guys have a preferred trailer, let me know in the chats. Frank said they're about the same level of boy bandness. I listened to Menudo when I was a kid because of my sister. Nice. He said that's where his love of boy bands might have originated. My wife is obsessed with a K-pop boy band. May, what's the boy band that you and Maya are all obsessed with?
BTS?
BTS. Yeah, they're obsessed with BTS.
I just sent my gift for BTS right now. Wow.
And I guess there's a lot of kids in high school that are into BTS too, because at my work, I've definitely met quite a few BTS fans. Frank said BTS? Yes. Frank said, I've heard of them, but I haven't listened to them. I don't know, Frank. You might be a fan. They're pretty good. I mean, you know, for that genre, I feel like they're really good. My wife would kill me for saying pretty good. They're excellent. Let's say that. That's so that my wife doesn't shoot me. So yeah, my wife and her sister are big fans. Ben likes them too, yeah. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, guys. We're gonna play a trailer. I didn't see any requests, so we're just gonna let's see what we can go through. Let's do Adventures at the Library again, since Frank's in the chats. I feel like that's gotta happen. Frank said they are K-pop goodness wrapped in boy band excellence. Nice. Okay, here we go. We're gonna play Adventures in. Speaking of K-pop goodness and boy band excellence, here is Adventures in the Library.
Our heroic adventurers fought orcs, monsters, sorcerers, necromancers. Now they find themselves in front of a mystical library. What shall they find? It's all in the roll of the dice. We've come this far. There's great power behind this door. I can feel it. We just have to get past it. This door is no match for my axe. I shall chop it down. You always want to use brute strength. Why don't you try knocking? We'll try it your way. You may enter. The library is open to all those who seek knowledge. Feel free to look through our tomes. Maybe you'll find the answers you seek. I sense great power here, and it's behind those shelves. Indeed, there are powerful items hidden behind these shelves, but you can only get there through the enchanted words. Do you have those words? I believe I do.
Tremble before the Cremble.
There is great power. Look at that glove. Must be so powerful. That is not where I sense this power. I must get closer. I found them. I found the sacred manuscripts written by Joshua Kemble. Behold, I now possess 2 stories and Jacob's apartment. Please tell us more about 2 stories and Jacob's apartment, and who is Joshua Kemble? Xeric Award-winning cartoonist Joshua Kemble is a freelance artist, graphic designer, and author. 2 Stories is a confessional graphic memoir that grapples with questions of faith, mental illness, depravity, and ultimately redemption in a fallen world. Jacob's Apartment is a coming-of-age graphic novel in the vein of Ghost Road and Fun Home. It weaves together the threads of spiritual faith, identity, purpose, love, and loss to create an engrossing world in which waking and sleeping dreams collide. You have made your choice. The passage is now closed. Wait, can I get that glove? No. Oh. All right, let's go.
I feel kind of bad for them at the end. It's like they go through all of that exposition to get the glove, and then it's like, oh, cool, yeah, we listened to it. Okay, cool. Can we get that glove? And he's like, no. That's pretty good. Okay. Anyhow, I like that. Thank you again, Frank. I hear there's another one in the works. Pretty excited to take a peek at it, possibly during dinner. Now what we're going to do is, so we have the floor, and now we just have to go through all those selections again. So let's start with the sky. Well, yeah, let's do the sky. This guy. I didn't even think of that, but that works. This guy and the sky. So I was really hoping to watch Destiny utterly destroy now I'm blanking out on his name, Alex Jones. He was going to debate Alex Jones at 6, and I will probably just watch the replay because I have to comic you guys. But I will say I think that's going to be really entertaining to watch Destiny just hopefully make fools of those people. As a person who likes watching debate, I will take quite a lot of joy in that. We'll see. You never know. Maybe they have some compelling evidence that I've never heard in my life. I doubt it. But yeah, so that should be good and timely for the date. Okay, so we're gonna get our barrel here, our barrel of fish. Edit. Wait, why do I keep doing edit fill? It's just the habit that I've built working on my laptop. And that, I will say, has been a real game changer for me. Just having a laptop's been opening up so many possibilities. I know that like a long time ago, Jim was giving me a hard time about it. He was like, dude, you need like to either get like an iPad or like a MacBook, because like you can work on trips and stuff. And I've literally gone on trips with Jim where like he'll, on a vacation, like sit in a coffee shop and work on his comic, or not his comic, but his animations. And he'll talk about like how that's so cool to be able to be mobile. And I have to admit, after years and years of not going that route, being able to have that option is huge. It's huge, especially if you're going to be working off-site. So that's made a big difference for me.
Just so you know, dinner's ready.
Awesome. So dinner is awaiting for when I can finish this page. Well, not the page, just this panel. That's the goal. I'm using eating as as an incentive, so that I need to finish this panel before I can eat. These are the tricks of the trade. Pick something you really want to do, and make that your carrot. Okay, let's do this. Frank said my dinner plans changed. I was going with a friend, but he bailed. I have to get something nearby since I haven't eaten since lunch. Oh, you definitely need to eat, man. Well, hopefully you pick a really tasty place, Right now I'm just going to think about all the food in the world that I can't eat because I need to finish this panel. Okay. We're going to do this. I believe this was like a green, but we will find out. We're just going to go through and fill in all of these color fills. The nice thing is, again, it's going to go quicker this time because it's literally a repeat of the same background. Frank said there's a Pizza Hut just 2 blocks from me. Nice. I haven't eaten at Pizza Hut in a long time. That might be just a California thing or something. It feels like there's more Domino's everywhere and not a lot of Pizza Huts around my area. But I do have fond memories of Pizza Hut. I feel like that and Round Table used to be the jam in the 80s. But for some reason, I think, at least in my part of California, I think that Domino's has just buried, at least in my city, they've just buried Pizza Hut. Like I don't think Pizza Hut's anywhere near us. There is a Papa John's near us, which is okay for for pizza. I do miss, though, my wife and I had a favorite pizza place. Maybe she remembers the name of it. I don't, but they had a Thai pizza that they deliver at like 3 a.m. when we lived in Long Beach. And that was like one of the tastiest things I've ever had in my life. I don't know. She probably doesn't remember the name either. It was a while ago. Yeah, we used to get it all the time, but neither of us remember the name of it. Oh, yeah, that was the only problem with that place. The Thai pizza place always had trouble with directions to our apartment. And so quite often we'd order it and then we'd get it like 3 hours later. And we'd be like, never order from there again because they get lost. And then we'd be like, but the Thai pizza is so good. We'd order it again and they'd get lost again. To be fair to them, though, it was a hard apartment to find. Like, we had a lot of friends who would get lost on the way there, too. And then I think it was tough to deliver to, too, because we had that, like, locked entryway thing. So they'd have to, like, buzz in and... yeah, I don't know. But I still think it was worth it, even though it was often late. It's always pretty rewarding to get. Land Rover said draw F and F, like Friday Night Funkin'? Is that what that is? I don't know what FNAF is. So we're getting there, guys. We are color filling page 95 of the graphic novel Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning for Turner Publishing. We're working on comics together. Oh, FNAF is Friday Night at Freddy's. It's a game. It's a series of comics and a movie. Nice. I'm not familiar enough with that. That's I think my son's played that. That's the Five Nights at Freddy's. That's it. Yeah, that's like, I've never played the game, but I think my kids possibly played it. But yeah, that's the one where you're stuck at like a psycho Chuck E. Cheese's or something, right? But yeah, if I knew any of the characters from that, or didn't have to color the thing I'm coloring, I would definitely take you up on that challenge. Yeah, I've even seen the toys for that too. When I went with my kid to get toys or something, like they're pretty cool. They have like it's kind of weird. It's like uh, it looks like the crazy, the Chuck E. Cheese kind of guys, but you can like remove their faces, and it's just like these weird like animatronic skulls and stuff. It looks really cool. Like the design for that is pretty brilliant. But I was thinking FNF as opposed to FNAF. I misread it for a second there.
Right now I'm trying to farm attempts for the 100,000 attempts link off here.
Okay,
9.
and we're just gonna do our fill here.
I even saved the attempt farm as my favorite level in my saved levels list. Attempt farm.
And we're getting through it. As tedious as this is, we're getting through this page.
Satisfied death sound effects. And I actually want to die like this right now. Because, well, I'm trying to farm death.
I think I might have done the wrong brown there, so we'll go back in a second just to kind of make sure I got the right brown. Okay, let's reselect this. Yeah, that was the wrong brown. So that should be this brown. Hopefully that works. Yes, it does. And let's get some of these fish. Okay.
Why did you score for some levels like fire in the wall? What do you mean fire in the wall
And now I'm going to do the, we're going to actually use the pencil tool to kind of create these little details on the fish so that they match. And then we will deselect those. Frank, have you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's, and was it fun?
Why is it so fast? This is faster than normal. Oh,
Let me double check. Yeah. There's a couple things I want to do here. Main thing is this. So then we'll deselect that little spot, that little spot, that little spot. We're getting one step closer. Okay, I'm going to save this and play a trailer. I'll be right back. So this is going to be the Kids Say Kemble trailer.
We know the Georgia kids say the craziest thing.
So, little Susie, do you have any brothers or sisters? I understand you're in 3rd grade. How do you like that? Do you like your teacher? You like to do a lot of fun things at school? You got any hobbies, Susie? Any things you like to do when you're not in school? I hear you like to read.
Well, right now I'm reading 2 stories written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It grapples with faith and mental illness. It's ultimately a story about redemption. It's a savage piece of writing. Also, I just finished up Jacob's Apartment, another one by Kemble. Jacob's Apartment weaves together elements of spiritualism and relationship dynamics, as well as atheism, and all the while it deals with abandonment and loyalty. It's a fierce read.
Do you like ponies?
That was Kids Say Kemble by Jim Lujan, the amazing animator. If you guys ever want to make a commercial that promotes your channel and cross promotes my books, feel free. Try to keep it under a minute, and I can add it to the rotation of videos that I play during these streams. Okay, let's see here. We're going to get through this, guys. We're going to get through this page. Hopefully you guys are battling some kind of art battle yourselves. Or maybe a food battle. My computer is doing the pinwheel of death. So once that decides to stop, then I can get back to coloring. And we're going to do this color. And again, I got to get through this whole background. This is the kind of incentives, at least for me, that work to kind of get me through these pages is just like little milestones that I need to hit. So let's get in here again. And we'll just kind of move through the rest of the page. I guess we can do maybe the rest of that figure once we finish this overhang kind of thing. I'm not sure what's making a repetitive laser noise in the house, but it's kind of amazing. I'm guessing it's a video game.
Right now, I'm just trying to get 100,000 attempts.
Ben said he's trying to get 100,000 attempts
On Geometry Dash.
on Geometry Dash.
Reason for a 2.6 sling copter.
A 2.6 plane copter?
No, 2.2 sling copter.
Oh, a 2.2 swing copter. Nice. So he's trying to hit a goal on a specific level. So let's see here. We're going to do here. Deselect this spot. So yeah, anyhow, I'm looking forward to the debate, which I'll probably watch after the fact because I think it's currently happening about January 6th, because I'm hoping that people like, Stephen Bonnell, like who's also known as Destiny, hopefully like more rational people like that can start convincing some lunatics out there that like of what happened on the 6th. Because it's like, it is like I vividly remember how nonviolent that was. It was a pretty rough day for our country. And so I think the more people who accept that and just kind of look at the footage, from the actual event and look at some of the details behind it and what was being attempted, I hope that I still can't help but have like a little bit of hope that some people who lean that way politically will start to see a little bit of what really is going on, as opposed to like, continuing to kind of put their heads in the sand and be like, it didn't happen. It was peaceful. It was Antifa. It was like, they make up all these things. And I think it'll be nice to have, hopefully people acknowledge what that was. It was like an attempt to really overthrow our democracy. And while it was some people, I'm sure there who thought they were doing memes, it's like, it wasn't memes. It's like they injured police officers. They, had the potential, like if anybody from Congress had been, caught by that mob, you never know. You really don't know what would have happened. And that's a little frightening, like the implications that would have had for our country, as well as just what implications would happen if you took all the Democratic votes and just from the states that are certified by the states, and you just told them, nope, we're going to have our own electors. We're just going to bypass the vote of the people. Like, I don't know, that was a really scary day. For me, like for as old as I am, I think that was one of the creepiest times I've personally experienced in politics. And I think it was one of the hardest times because there were just so many people I knew who were like delusional about it. And wouldn't accept that like these people were serious and that there was a sincere attempt to like literally overthrow the government just to keep one guy in power. Mainly influenced by lies spread by that guy. So I hope like people start seeing that. It's like, it's frustrating to even have that conversation with people sometimes because, again, like a lot of people are just delusional about it. Like I have literally on stream listened to the Georgia phone call, like the phone call of the president literally trying to strong arm somebody into faking faking that there were miscast votes and just basically trying to arrive at the number of votes that he'd need to win. And people will listen to the same thing that I'm listening to, and they'll be like finding all these weird technicalities of like why that's not what that phone call was. And I haven't seen, this is a little rant, but I haven't seen people defy logic so much for like a partisan reason in my lifetime. I have never seen people so lost in the sauce, so just like pumped full of Kool-Aid, that they're just denying their ears, they're denying their eyes, they're just denying everything and taking one guy's word that everything they're seeing, everything they're hearing is just not true, and just disregarding reason to like justify like a really weird, selfish, crazy guy who at the end of the day didn't really accomplish much when he was president. And so it's like, I don't know, it's just weird to me. It's weird to me. It's been weird to see, but I can't help but have hope that at some point, like people will, who are like lost in the funnel, will like wake up, kind of like somebody waking up from being in a cult or whatever, where they'll be like, oh man, I've been in like a cult for like 4 years or something, like I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm hoping it's going to happen. Because the implications of just all of that and then justifying that kind of thing is just unbelievable. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's like on the anniversary, I guess. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. People who used to be really all about absolute truth have become the forebearers of like, well, that's your truth and this is mine, and it's like, well, we all see things differently. And it's like, no, there's some things that are true and some things that aren't, and it's pretty obvious in some cases that some opinions are just off. And one of them would be that was just a meme day. Anyhow, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully some of that moves forward. I honestly have just gotten bored talking about it because it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating getting in conversations with people about that. It just gets kind of boring where it's like, okay, because what's weird is you'll even point out like facts and stuff, and like the second you point out facts, there's a pivot, and they'll just pivot to the next thing, and it's usually okay, but what about kind of conversation where you're like, well, you're not even like paying attention to one single point, So anyhow, I'm rambling, but that's been interesting. Okay, so we are drawing fish, guys. We're coloring fish. We're going to earn that right to eat food, and it shall be joyous. And the food shall be eaten, and there shall be celebration. Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. I just have to finish this panel, so. We're going to finish this panel, come hell or high water. I think I've asked this on stream before. Where does that come from, hell or high water? Did we already look that up? It's just an interesting turn of phrase. I wonder what that related to. I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with like a flood of some kind, or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like marching through high water or something. I don't know. Be interesting to see. maybe people aren't there like a style of pants called high waters? They're like, we'll march through hell in high waters. Let's see here. Okay. So we're going to rock this. We're going to get the background here kind of filled in. Getting there. It's going to be amazing when it gets done. The effect will be cool. The nice thing about this, we were talking about this on the stream earlier today. The nice thing about this is if I pull it off, like no one's going to notice it. The only way people are going to notice the work I put into this panel is if I mess it up. And then they'll notice, they'll be like, oh, that looks weird. I don't know why. But at the end of the day, all these little details, color selection, stuff like that, they just go to hopefully make the story read more seamlessly. Okay, now we got our little hams. Gonna get our ham going on. Do. And then we're going to do our fish. Are the lips the same color? I think they are. Okay. A little fish dude here. Get our other fish thing here. I think that's the same tone. Let's find out. Yeah, that is. Get our other fish thing back here. This thingamabopper. That's the official term for it. So Frank would be really proud of this. When I said thingamabops, then my wife went, "You want thingamabobs? I want 20. But who cares?" So anyhow, I thought Frank would get a kick out of that because Frank is known to bust into that song quite a few times, which I understand because that is one of the best songs ever written.
The reason why I want that many attempts is for him to swing copter.
All right. Get those little middle sections here. Should just be one. And then we'll get our ham going on. We'll go ham on this business. Okay, is that the same? No, that's different. Okay. Shift F5. It's going to be just the frontsies. Move through that.
It's at 47%, but I'm not risking it.
We're going to get the backsies here.
Keep this plugged in.
And then we're going to get the turkey leg back there, which is right here. We'll move through that. And I'm going to save. And let's get this one side done. Okay. So I think this next part is here. Oh, it's going to be more of this deeper.
I have 3,200. I screenshotted this when I had 3,200.
Okay. Now we're going to get through here and do the lighter part. which I think we have selected. And we'll move forward. What else? What else do we need to do here? So I actually think this is good here. I think we can have... Yeah, okay. I think we can have this here and here. So it's kind of like a frame almost in the area. I think this should be the hair color. Let's find it again. Shift F5. And we'll kind of work our way through. Okay, that is the door color. Now we're going to get this little piece here, which I think will be more like this deeper orange. And then the rest will be this. Okay, there we go. So we'll do the deeper orange first. Then we'll do the lighter orange. And then we'll do the deeper gray back here, which I think will pull it all together for that little section. Whew, that took a while. Okay, we're getting there. There's not much left to do. Not much left to do on this page at all, which is good because I need to eat food. Okay, we don't actually show a lot of that. So I guess there's a couple colors here that I can pull. One is going to be this main one. That'll be the main building back there. So we'll do this. And this is going to be this main section of building. And then I think we'll do this as the main section of building here, and then we'll work our way around this window to get this little section too.
Mom, yes, can I have some more strawberries, please? Yes. Thank you. Also, guys, just notice that my iPad's going to fall asleep soon.
Okay, now we're going to do our other color here, and then the windows will be this kind of purpley business.
Otherwise, it'll stop forming and have slow my iPad's off.
So, let's do this. I kind of don't like how this is cutting into that handle, so we'll fix that up too.
Stay on that long, and it would, and it will.
So we're gonna fix the handle of the parasol here too.
I feel like it's not as good as this could happen.
Fix that color selection. And then we get to make a new color because this doesn't show in the previous one. So I like the idea of this being maybe one of these kind of more red colors. So let's do that. Or maybe we don't want it to be a red color because it has red in front of it. So maybe it'll be, let's see what it'll be. Actually, I kind of like it in a muted, but I feel like the red on red isn't going to work. So let's pick a different tone for this building back here. Maybe it's more of one of those yellows. But like a deeper... not sold on this yet. That works. I think that's what we'll use instead. Just so that it kind of creates a little more distance between the foreground and the background in color. But it still has a little bit of orange to it, so I can kind of contrast with that blue in front of it. And then here, we're going to do our window. And let's darken this up. Cool. One side completed. We just have that other side, and then we're done for the stream. So what I'm going to do is play another trailer, and then we'll be back and we'll finish up this panel. While I do that too, just to make sure that I don't confuse the stuff that I've already color filled, we'll color the areas that we haven't done magenta, and then we're going to play another trailer. So this trailer is, let's do Philip's trailer. So Philip Chandler's trailer. Here it is.
Hi, my name is Phil Chandler. I'm a freelance artist, illustrator, and cartoonist. Today, though, however, I want to tell you about a graphic novel I picked up recently called Jacob's Apartment. This book was both written and beautifully illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It is the story of a doomed romance that causes the main character to question his beliefs and his faith, while he's also going through other tragedies in his life. Every page has been illustrated by hand and digitally colored with painstaking detail. It is an emotional story that causes you to think and even question things in your own life. And while the story is a tragedy, it is one that I was completely entertained by and I highly recommend. You can currently find this on Amazon or even check in with your local bookstore and see if you can order it. And while you're at it, you can also check out my Instagram at Phil Chandler Arts and also my YouTube channel by the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. And go buy Jacob's Apartment.
All right, cool. That was Philip Chandler, an excellent artist on his own. He drew the caricature that I use quite often at the intros of my my shows, the little caricature of me with like the wild hair. And he is just a killer artist. So you guys should definitely be following him on YouTube, on the tubes of you. Okay, pinwheeling again. For some reason that happens sometimes. Okay, now we're gonna finish this up if my computer can take it. Not the oldest computer, not the newest computer either. Okay, yeah, it is really having trouble here. Philip said, I've been in and out of here and I saw my face and thought, what happened to me? Yeah, we were just, I was playing your trailer and letting people know to subscribe to you because Philip does really cool stuff. Also, Philip apparently played the chord organ back in the day, and I still need to use that for a song at some point because it is super fun. It's a super fun instrument. I don't think I'll play it as well as Philip, but I will give it a shot. Okay, let's get this out of here. Philip said, I feel like I'm aging 5 years every year. You and me both, buddy. You and me both. Whenever I look at like pictures from like last year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just gotten fatter and wrinklier. Like it just happens that like every year my stomach gets a little bigger, my face gets a little wrinklier. Philip said I could buy one if I could fit it in the apartment. You could probably make it happen. You could just get a little one, you know? They have them at, like I said, I was surprised, man. Like, thrift stores have them for, like, nothing. Like, usually for, like, $10, you know? You should totally rock one. Do a live stream. Rocking some organ. That'd be awesome. I would watch that. I would watch Philip on organ. I just thought of something really inappropriate, but it's funny, so I'm going to say it. So, Philip, if you wanted to like do a thing that's a shtick, you could do a live stream and then do what you could call like an organ donation. But it's a donation to buy an organ, like the instrument, you know? No? That might be really inappropriate. I don't know. I just thought that would be funny. Because I would kick in for that. It'd be cool.
Mom said it's kind of like that. At first it was just gonna be strawberries. When I tasted it, not as good as I
All right, guys.
stupid though.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Decided to ask me. Now it tastes real good.
Do you guys remember in SpongeBob how like every transition would be like 5 years later? It's like I kind of feel like that anytime I'm working on comics. I feel like, and I'm gonna start and I'm gonna make a lot of progress, and it's like 10 years later. Philip said, "LOL. I hate asking for that sort of thing, but that's a funny idea. I think just for the bit, you should do it. You know." Like do like a 24-hour Phillips organ donation. You know, and you could be like, I need a new organ. Like I really need it. I think as long as you don't actually like mislead people, you're really clear about it. To me, that would be really funny. Also, imagine your neighbors, like how much you could joyfully, blissfully annoy them with like playing like organ tracks. You know, just like they'll think they're living next to like the Phantom of the Opera or something. You know, I think that's beautiful. And you could like mess with your neighbors even more by like wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask every once in a while and then being like, oh crap, and like running away. Oh, there's so many bits I can think of that would be funny with an organ. Nice. Philip said, everyone that donates, I'll take a song request. I love it. The one thing that's kind of a bummer, and I do understand, like especially if you like really like the full scale organ, right? Is it's like it's a beast to like find an area in your house to have it, you know? So like quite often, if I look on like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, like somebody will be donating like a full out, you know, operatic or like, you know, church organ, you know, kind of thing, where it's like it's a big, giant, awesome monster, and I bet it sounds rad. But there's just that is one of those ones where I totally relate, where it's like there's no space in our house for that. Like there's just none. You know, like there's no way we're gonna make space for those, you know. But every once in a while I'll see them and I'll be like, man, you know, if you were an organ player, you know, and you had space, it's like you can acquire an organ sometimes just for free, just by transporting it. Because a lot of people who want to get rid of them are just like you could get like a full out, you know, organ, you know. Probably the same with piano too. You could probably get a decent piano that's just you're just offering to like move it for people, you know, because a lot of people just are like, yeah, we don't want this giant piano around the house anymore. And you know, you can get really killer deals on that, I'd imagine. So sometimes I think even free, just paying for the transport for it. But it's like, again, you know, all is great until you go like, where do I put that thing? You know?
Breaking news.
Yeah, Philip was saying the old ones take up a lot of room. Yeah, they do. That's why I think a lot of people want to get rid of them, you know? But you can get a keyboard or a synthesizer that's more compact, you're right. And generally can get like a lot of the same tones. It's never quite the same though, you know.
That's not quite halfway there. I'm not a big fan.
Like when we've gone to visit my wife's family in Utah, there's a Catholic church that they attend that has like this giant organ that's like built into the building. It's like a big pipe organ. And I don't think you can replicate that tone digitally. Like I just don't. It's like that thing just sounds, it sounds like the building is playing, you know. It's an amazing thing. It also sounds super fun. Like I wish I could go in after everything's closed, you know, and like sneak up there and play it, you know, because I bet that's a really cool feeling where you play this thing and you just hear it echoing through this like rad building, you know. Anyhow,
Mom called your mom. I mean, Dad.
what's up?
Mom called you. It's getting really close to bed. Dad, I do believe he's still live streaming.
Okay, so we are getting much closer. Philip said the one thing the keyboards lack are the full bass pedal tones you play with your feet. Yeah, and I mean the thing is, you can, you know, again, I use, you know, synth keys all the time. Like on the bottle of Better Than, I just use like a synth that was like an organ emulation, because it's just like there's no way, you know, and that I just played on my keyboard, but it sounded pretty good, you know. It may not sound quite as good as the real thing, but you know, it's passable. And like synth has come a long way. Synthesizers have come a really long way. But just to get like an organ tone, I think that's pretty much possible on like most synthesizers now, you know? And again, those little, I know that little chord organ I got, that's like, I mean, it's not a full scale keyboard on it, but that thing was like $10, you know? And it sounds pretty awesome. So you can get like a smaller one, like that's a smaller one, you know, it would probably fit on my desk, although even finding room for that in our house is kind of a pain. But we're getting there, guys. We just have to finish this one side and then we are good to go. I'm getting hungry too, so and I gotta bathe my kid, so there's a lot pending that needs to get done with this. Okay, next part, let's do it. I want to deselect this. I want to make, oh wait, maybe I don't want to deselect this. Maybe I wanted this to be, no, I do need to deselect that. Okay, and then we're going to do our dress kind of continuing down here. Getting so close. Let's do our building parts here. Did this color continue all the way down? It did. this part. It is funny how with these things, though, I will always underestimate the amount of time this takes to do. And it kind of makes sense because these are kind of crowd scene panels. So, of course, these are going to take a couple hours to do, you know?
That is a lot of a text. Dang.
We're just going to get our window here.
Guys?
Get our middles.
Who else? Yours? Yours?
Oh, we did hair yesterday, Mike.
Yeah, that's why I was like, at least you don't have to do hair.
Yeah.
Yours? Who else is, guys? Who else is aiming for 100,000 total attempts for a new slingcopter?
100,000 for a new slingcopter. Anybody out there? Are you guys trying 100,000 attempts for a new slingcopter
In Geometry Dash.
in Geometry Dash
2.2.
2.2? Hopefully, you guys are.
Yeah. If you are, you should probably subscribe to this guy. If you aren't, you should probably still subscribe to this guy.
Benji's so goofy. All right. We're so close, guys. So close. It's just a matter of will to just kind of get through this. The unsexy part of work here. Okay. Here we go. We're going to get our, we got to get these two colors here. Kind of remember it's on the side and the bottoms. So
Here we have 6,500 attempts. I just passed 6,500 attempts.
and we will get through this page. We will be victorious. Okay. Last bits, just this this part here. And this bit here. We've got our, I think this is all almost one color up here. So that's good. Let's do that. Okay, we're gonna fill this here This door? It is funny, like the further I get on filling out these little tiny details, the more I'm like, ugh.
I think after my back control, I have like at least 3.
Okay, we got these 2 fish colors. One is for the head and lips, or the body and lips, and then one is for the head. So we're going to do that.
I think I'm probably going to have at least that many more tests after that.
This is the head.
I'm honestly hoping I get more attempts.
This is the this next part is the body and lips.
About to hit. Fingers crossed that I'll catch some
We are so close, guys. So close. Okay, let's get that background area saved too, just so we don't, wind up losing all of this effort and work. Gets his lady's dress and skin. Nice, Ben. Ben is rocking his goals on his game.
Before starting the attempts counter, attempt farmer. Sorry. Like I had a pretty, like a lot more than 50,000 attempts. Not 60,000, but more than 50,000 for sure. I had more than 50,000 attempts.
Okay, the nice thing is I think all of this is green.
That's quite a lot of attempts gained.
So we're going to get through that.
I have about 60,000 now.
And now we need to do this part, which is going to be this and this for the kind of brighter part. So let's try that. Once my computer catches up on the memory, it kind of froze. Hopefully you guys are seeing me. Oh, wow. I froze for like a second there. Hopefully you guys can see me. Hopefully the transmission's not dead. It looks like it cut out for a second there. So I will say when I'm done with this, I need to shut my computer down and let it chill for an hour or so, because it is acting a little wacky. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect these top areas and these little details here.
I'm so close to 7,500. And I just hit that.
And now we're going to try for the, what is the tone, the other tone here? I think that works. So now we're going to deselect that. And now we can get into the stuff behind it, which is this color. Seems like a almost flat color. Let's see, without the lines. Yep. It's almost like these stalls are a flat color. I think we'll add a little bit to it since we see a little bit more in this view than we saw in the previous.
I'm fine. Sorry. That was an accident.
And now we'll try doing like a lighter version. And we'll do a darker version as well. And then I think we're going to do some kind of color for the interiors, just to kind of, give it a little more depth, since we're seeing this and we don't really see it in the other. But we want it to be kind of a more kind of strange tone, like we don't quite know what that is. Now here we're going to have our colors here. And that'll be the kind of troughs here or whatever that the food is all in. I'm going to continue that over, and we'll fill the little rock things or whatever are here with one of the colors, and then we will pick a different color for the other. So we're getting there, guys. So, and then I like the idea of picking another color for the other. Let's do like a lighter tone.
Guys, I'm so close to 10,000 attempts. I've already gone past 8,000 now. I've already gone past 8,000 now.
I think my son is getting really close to that Geometry Dash goal that he's working on.
I just AFKing in the level the whole time and getting a bunch of attempts. It's a good thing I enabled faster restart and auto retry.
Okay. Now we just have to fill in these last like 3 buildings, and I think we're good. So last 3 buildings. One is going to be this. Pretty easy. Did I select that? Okay. Pretty easy. Just kind of pop that in. So if you guys have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the channel. And also it makes me have a better day. So just hit that like button. What are you waiting for? Aside from that, we're going to get close to done on this stream. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live. Maybe once I'm, off stream or whatever, maybe go get some food if you haven't eaten yet. We can eat at the same time. I'll probably be working a little bit later, as well. And kind of getting through the next panel. It might actually, honestly, I may not finish this today. I'm kind of surprised by it, but this complexity of the colors on this takes a while. It takes a lot longer than I thought it would. But, I want to make it good for people. So there's that. So we're going to go ahead and finish up these buildings, and then we will call it for the stream. We'll call it something fun. Okay, here we go. Ben just got a new spaceship. And that's pretty cool. He worked hard for that, so that's good. Okay, let's see here. We're going to get this last building kind of filled in. Don't have to invent this, which is good. So that roof is that color. Let's get the let's find out what are the windows. The windows are this color. And then the building's this color. Cool. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. Like in Star Wars. My wife knows me really well. She was like, almost there. I have used that so many times in my life. That almost there. Okay. Now we just have this tone. And then we're going to kind of invent a little bit. There's a couple things. One is, I think I actually did that fill-in space wrong, so we're going to go ahead and correct that. And that should be pretty simple to correct in a second. But what I want to do is turn continuous on, so I'm not selecting all of the blues, just these spots. Okay, now we're going to do this. Deselect this. Do this color. And then we'll do another one of those colors here. And then I think now what we're going to do is this spot will be more on a red tone, but not, we don't want to distract too much. Let's see what tone works. We'll do something a little different so that it pops a little bit. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and save. Take a look at it. Hold on. Probably want to deselect this and make the parts we haven't gotten to magenta. All of that. Oh, and then there's one other. Like I thought, I was all excited. I'm like, I get to eat. Not yet. Not yet. So I have to do now this continuously again. And then we have to do our color hold in the sky, which is a really cool name for a band. Okay, so let's cut it. Oh, I cut out the wrong thing. Let's actually go back to locking the transparent pixels. Let's go to shading, unlock our transparent pixels, cut that area out of the sky. We'll go back to our area that says sky. I'm going to paste. Oh, I need to actually paste by pasting in place. Paste special, paste in place. Then I'm going to lock that. We're going to select this area here. Boom. And then we'll do our color fill of that. And then I like the idea of actually merging it down. Merge down. Merge down to the sky layer. Let's try doing that again just so that they're the same color. Maybe we darken them a little bit. Oh. Yeah, and my computer definitely needs a break after this live stream because it's been really laggy. Hopefully the audio was okay. Let me know, you guys, how it came out. Nice. Ronnie and I finished at almost the exact same time. He said, yeah, just finished my panel right now. Me too. So I'm glad to keep you company while you're finishing your panels. I just finished mine. I'm going to reward myself with dinner. Hopefully you guys got a lot done during the stream. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. We're going to call it a night, and I will see you later on the next stream. Goodbye.